How's it going, everyone? This is Daniel, and in this video we are going to be talking about Tesla stock. We're going to go over and look at exactly the massive reversal that we saw with Tesla stock price. We're going to go over in detail and look at how and why that happened. We're also going to go over and look at exactly why people are saying that Elon Musk might have started selling Tesla shares. We're going to go over and look at and check exactly if that is true or not. Has Elon Musk started selling Tesla shares? So we're going to be talking about it in this video and also go over some of the business plan that Elon Musk might have for Twitter. So make sure you stay tuned. We're going to talk about it. All this important information in this video coming up. As you can see over here, we have Tesla stock today that's sitting at $877.51. We're down 0.45%. After hours, we are selling off a little bit. As you can see, we had this massive drop from $900 all the way down to $826.74. And as you can see, we slowly recovered to the upside. So there have been some important economic data that came out today that significantly affected the overall stock market. We have the initial jobless claims number, and also we have the GDP numbers that came out with a massive surprise. The US GDP shrank 1.4%. So that was a pretty big surprise. But when you look at the overall stock market, we rallied to the upside. We have Amazon that announced their earnings after hours, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia. The overall stock market loved what happened with the GDP number. So let's go over in detail why this happened. So we have this unexpected number that came out, which is the economy shrank 1.4% in the first 3 months of the year. And this is definitely going to be helping the stock market because the Federal Reserve were constantly coming out and stating that the economy is strong and they are planning to raise interest rates at a pretty aggressive level. So this can definitely change the narrative of that because the economy is not apparently strong. As you can see, the biggest issue that the US is facing right now is that the import goods are higher than what the US is exporting. So that is a big concern. But the jobless claims numbers came out as expected. The Washington Post is stating that the Fed isn't expected to change course on hiking rates in May, but the negative GDP data could influence future rate hikes as the Fed had forecast as many as 7 this year. So this can definitely change the narrative from how aggressive the Federal Reserve is going to be when it comes to raising interest rates. So it is a pretty tough spot to be for the administration and also for the Federal Reserve. So we're going to see exactly how they're planning to definitely tackle this massive issue that's happening across the board. So in May, the Federal Reserve is going to be having the FOMC meeting. So we're going to be hearing from them in detail how they're planning to basically tackle inflation and also not trigger a massive recession. As you can see, the economy is definitely taking a big hit right now. But the stock market, as I mentioned, is looking pretty good today because this is great. The Fed might not be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to rate hikes, and the stock market is loving it, as you can see. But let's talk about exactly the big earnings that came out today. We're going to be talking about Apple. They beat their earnings. As you can see, the stock is up in after hours 1.85%. Amazon actually cut their guidance for Q2. The stock is down 6.95%. Also, Twitter reported their earnings. They missed on their revenue, but user growth is constantly going up. And they talked about that they're not going to be giving any kind of guidance for the next 2 years, mainly because of what's going on with the Elon Musk deal. Now, let's talk about the price action that we've been seeing with Tesla. As you can see, Tesla has been slowly going down to the downside. We all know investors are fearful of what's going on with this Twitter deal that Elon Musk is doing. Some reporters and some people are speculating that Elon Musk eventually started selling Tesla shares to get cash to finalize the deal. As you can see from the report over here, Musk has not indicated whether or not he plans to sell Tesla shares to cover the deal, but it is likely a possibility. It might be already happening, which could explain part of the drop in price, and if so, Musk would have to disclose it in the coming days. So me personally, I don't think Elon Musk started selling his shares. It's just that people are fearful, and if he actually sold his shares as the article stated, that he has to file with the SEC to state how many shares he sold, what date that he sold, and etc. So in order to check that, you can go to secform4.com. It displays exactly what insiders are doing in the company. So we've been tracking the past Elon Musk sales using this website. So if you are doubtful, if you want to check exactly, okay, why is Tesla stock dropping, as Elon selling his shares to finalize the deal, you can come and check it. As you can see, the last activity with insiders actually buying, selling shares was on April 5. So definitely come and check out this website if you want to see more details about who's buying and who is selling. Me personally, I don't think Elon Musk started selling his shares. I think he would definitely announce it on Twitter and etc. But that's just my opinion. So now let's go over and look at exactly what Elon Musk is planning to do with Twitter, right? So Twitter, they cut their guidance for the next 2 years. They're not going to be talking about it. And Elon Musk has his own business plan, how he's going to be generating revenue. So we're going to be watching a detailed breakdown of that. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to go over exactly what to expect for Tesla stock for the next few days, what to watch out for, what is the ideal price point to buy Tesla stock for somebody that is waiting on the sideline and waiting to buy Tesla. So first, let's check out this video.
But questions here is, what kind of business model does Elon Musk think Twitter should have? He sort of hinted he wants to move away from an ad revenue business model. And if so, what does that mean? Does that mean subscription? And will that really be a profitable engine?
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of unknowns, one really big unknown is, of course, what happens to Twitter's ad business as a result of this deal. As you said, Musk is a proponent of making Twitter a subscription-based service rather than an ad-supported one. But the problem here is that there's plenty of research that shows that consumers still prefer to view free content in exchange for ads and subscribe to a service. And making Twitter a subscription service would radically change its business model. It's worth noting that this isn't something that would happen overnight. There's some talk that Musk would need Twitter's ad revenues in order to keep it afloat as the transition continues. And it's also worth noting that this is happening at a time that Twitter has really seen a rebound in ad growth. We'll have to wait until Thursday to see if that continued in Q1. But at least for 2021, it reported 41% growth in its ad revenues. And at Insider Intelligence, in our latest forecast that was made before this announcement, we were expecting Twitter's ad revenues to grow by another 25% this year.
What are you expecting how do you expect this deal to impact user growth?
Well, Twitter has already been struggling in bringing in new users. And I think one part of this whole Musk saga that has been so interesting is that Twitter is a platform that really thrives on news and uncertainty and even controversy. So there's a chance that all of this playing out really could have helped Twitter's engagement. Of course, that's not something that we will see in the earnings call on Thursday, as that happened after Q1. But it's possible that Twitter is still struggling. It's actually likely that Twitter is still struggling. I'm not expecting to see massive user growth, considering the user growth that it reported last quarter in monetizable daily active users.
But is there anything between now and close that could take this deal off the rails?
So a bunch of things could happen between now and, let's say, the end of the year. Next steps for, I guess, the Elon Musk Twitter deal that we have on the table right now is if Elon Musk wants to, he can take out the equity commitment that he has for $21 billion and replace it with commitments from other people, or actual equity from other people. The deal also needs to get regulatory approval. It needs to get approved by shareholders. And then there is always the possibility that another bidder comes in. Now, it's our understanding that there is a reverse breakup fee in this deal, which means basically Elon Musk has to pay a certain amount of money if he decides to walk away from the deal, or if it falls apart for certain reasons. And so if another bidder were to come in, he wouldn't owe that. But there is the possibility that another bidder could still come in here. So yeah, we'll be watching that.
Interesting. Now, Jasmine, I'm curious what you make of Elon Musk's stance on free speech and how you expect that to impact users and ad revenues. If he evolves the service to be more liberal when it comes to moderation, not in a political sense, but you know what I mean, what does that mean for advertisers specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Musk has said that he wants to make Twitter into a free speech haven, which would likely reverse a lot of the guardrails that Twitter has instituted in order to protect the health of its platform, its users, and the brands that advertise there. Doing so might make a lot of risk-adverse advertisers really wary about advertising on Twitter. There's always the chance of misinformation and disinformation spreading when content is less moderated. If they are to keep this ad business, it is something that Musk will have to do to figure out how to balance this idea of less content moderation with creating a brand-safe environment for advertisers.
Before we talk about a detailed breakdown, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That can definitely help the channel to grow. So as you can see, Tesla stock is down in after hours below $850. We closed at $877.51. So a few days ago, we talked about, okay, what could be the lowest price that I personally think that Tesla stock could potentially go? My prediction was around $850, but we went below that. The lowest that we hit was around $826. So $850 is definitely the price level that I am watching right now. Of course, I picked up some shares today when I saw Tesla dropped close to $800. The big support that we're watching is right around over here, which is $750. I don't think it's going to hit that unless, Elon Musk comes out and says, okay, I'm selling this amount of shares, or we might see an SEC filing that states that Elon Musk sold this amount of shares. So people might panic, and that's like the worst case scenario. But I don't personally think that's going to happen. But if we go below any kind of $800, that's just a very, very fantastic time to buy Tesla. We hit the $700 price mark in spite of what happened with Russia and Ukraine. When that news got announced that Russia was invading Ukraine, we saw a massive dip, and that was the low that we made over here. But for tomorrow, I think we can get a bounce based off of what we got from this GDP number with interest rates hike, all that kind of thing. That can definitely help Tesla. Of course, Tesla has its own catalyst with Elon Musk deal and etc. So that is another important factor that is affecting Tesla price. But I personally think that we can get a bounce at least close to $900 and above tomorrow. So that is the short-term price prediction. If you're somebody that wants to buy Tesla stock, it is a great time to buy, and you can definitely average down even if it goes down for the long term, of course. And just let's say if you want to buy 100 shares of Tesla stock, you can buy 10 shares, maybe 20 shares tomorrow, and you can definitely spread it out instead of unloading all of your capital in one day. So that's gonna be the smartest way to do it too. So, but let me know in the comments below if you actually bought Tesla stock today, and what is your expectation of what could potentially happen with Twitter. So I'd love to hear your opinion, but I'll catch you guys on another video. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, check out the links in the description box below for free stocks, but have a wonderful day.